Peeling back the layers, see what's underneath. Let the shadows fade away and finally breathe. We're turning on the light, yeah. We're turning on the light. Exposing all the truth and making everything right. We're turning on the light. Ooh, we're turning on the light. Turning on the light, yeah.
Welcome to Exposing Truth. I'm your host, Pete Nielsen. Today we are going to be pulling back the curtain on a concept that sounds completely noble on paper, but in practice, it's fundamentally broken. And what I'm talking about is government transparency, or more accurately, the dangerous illusions surrounding it. So the last time you seen me, we were on Facebook. I sent a little teaser video out of what we're going to do. Today we're going to be generally speaking about government transparency and all the things they do to not be transparent. We're also going to be talking about the city of Pasadena. We have a new mayor that said that this administration is the most transparent we've ever had. So we're going to put it to the test. We filed an open records request, and we're going to see how it goes. And we're going to give you all the information on what typically happens in an open records request. So we'll see if that happens, or they hand over the document like this they're supposed to do. And when the mayor was running for office, he said he was going to be doing a forensic audit, and he actually did. So we'd like to see that audit in its entirety. We're entitled to it. We paid for it, and we'd like to see it. What we did see is a little PowerPoint version of it, which basically didn't tell us anything. I think we know a whole lot more about it than what the PowerPoint showed, but we'd like to see it, and I know there's a process. So right now we're going to go in and we're going to look at government transparency, and we're going to talk about government transparency and the way it appears to be. And it seems like a little cartoon villain movie. And we picture these smoke-filled back rooms, dark suits, and deliberate malicious cover-ups. But let's be real. Sometimes it exactly is that. But the reality fires me up. Is psychological breakdown what happens when the public institutions decide to pull down the blinds. They think they're just managing this narrative, but what they're actually doing is opening up a portal of chaos. And think about it. When government operates in secret, they create this informational vacuum. And human nature absolutely hates the vacuum. The authorities won't give you the facts. Your brain is going to invent a story to connect the dots. That's right. This is the literal birthplace of conspiracy theories. They aren't always just some random fabrications pulled out of thin air. More often than not, a conspiracy theory is a desperate structural attempt by everyday citizens to make sense out of what's hiding in the math. And think about it. If a major policy shifts overnight, you are left completely in the dark, assuming the hidden malicious motive isn't just paranoia, it's completely predictable human defense mechanism, and it destroys public trust. And on two distinct levels. First, you get this vertical breakdown. You stop trusting your leaders above it. But when it bleeds horizontally, we start turning on our neighbors as part of this hidden agenda. But let's go into the absolute most frustrating part of this machine. The part that drives anyone trying to look behind the curtain as completely insane. You file a public records request. You know you're legally supposed to get. And what do you receive? A page that looks like a crossword puzzle because it's completely covered up with black marker. Or worse, they hit you with this classic line. We can't release it yet because we're seeking an attorney general opinion. Let's call it what it actually is. An AG opinion is an escape hatch. It's the ultimate bureaucratic game of chicken. These officials know the laws, and they have to hand it over. They know their legal counsel knows it, but they run to the attorney general anyway. And why? Because the information has a shelf life. The document released today could stop a corrupt contract or flip an election. A document released 6 months from now is old news. And by requesting an AG opinion, they trigger a 45 to 60-day pause button. They're literally using your taxpayer dollars to buy themselves time until the news cycle moves on. It's an administrative exhaustion. They heavily redact the files under the disguise of privacy and litigation exemptions, betting you won't have a team of high priced lawyers to fight them in court. But they figure if they could create enough friction to make you wait long enough, you'll just give up and go away. And the worst part about the system, it rewards them for it. Think about it. The personal stake for the bureaucrat. If they accidentally release documents they weren't supposed to, they could be fired or sued. But if they wrongfully withhold the documents, stall you out, the worst that will happen is months down the road, the judge will gently tell the agency, hey, hand it over. The individual bureaucrat faces zero personal consequences, passing the buck to the AG and giving them total bulletproof coverage. When you look at it closely, the stall mechanism relies on three specific tactics. Number one, the data dump detection. When you can't hide the data, they bury it. Thousands of unsearchable PDFs in the middle of the night technically counts as public records request, but it's just a wall of noise. Two, compliance mindset. Bureaucrats treat transparency like a legal chess list, and they get to avoid getting sued rather than a cultural bridge to build trust. If they check on the bare minimum box, they think they've done their job. And finally, the insider's blind spot, what experts call the curse of knowledge. Because the people inside already know the context, they assume that heavily sanitized, redacted public statements are perfectly clear to the rest of us. A massive disconnect to the bureaucrat. A public records request takes 9 months and comes out 80% blacked out. Just following standard procedure, and the citizen waiting on the other side, it looks like a hostile cover up. True transparency isn't transactional, it's cultural. It's, it's not about giving us a broken website portal to fight over. It's about standing on the podium and saying, here's what we decided here. Here's the raw data we use to make that choice. And here's exactly what is going on, and it's going to cost us. When you do that, you don't magically eliminate the political arguments. The people will still fight over the policy, but you change what they're fighting about. Instead of debating whether the secret shadow cabinet is pulling strings, we're finally debating with actual facts. Transparency doesn't force agreement, it grounds it in a shared reality. And right now, reality is exactly what we're losing grasp of. So if you like the content here today, please like, share, subscribe. Let us know if you have any topics you want us to talk about, and we'll see you next time on Exposing Truths.